Mean Gene along with Adam Pearce, the NWA World Heavyweight Champion. And curiously enough, tonight here in Waukesha, you're going to be facing a former friend, or is he still a friend?
Still a friend. In fact, Gene, I'm a man of simple truths, and the simple truth is Rashi Brown, all 6'5", 275 pounds. I would call him my brother.
Well, that's a pretty strong statement.
Definitely. 20 years of friendship. Traveling the roads, flying the miles. You know exactly what I'm talking about.
The inside track, though, tells me that he knows a lot about you.
Now, that's a double-edged sword, is it not, Gene?
It could be a catch-22.
You're damn right, Rashi Brown. Tonight's your opportunity, and I'm not going to mince words. I'm sure when we're done in Waukesha tonight, as with you, Gene, we'll probably toss a few suds back. But this is at stake, Rashi. 10 pounds of leather and gold, synonymous with greatness. This is the godfather of all wrestling championships, is it not, Gene?
It is indeed.
Rashi, I love you. You are my brother. But tonight, as we stand 18 feet across of each other in Blizzard Brawl, the biggest stage in Waukesha, understand, handshakes are out the window. Hugs and kisses are gone. Tonight, it's certainly business before pleasure, and while you and I may be tipping back suds, Rashi, be prepared to be crying in yours, my brother.
Well, I'm sure there's going to be a cold refreshment out there that he can cry into. Let's get back to action.
Hello there, this is the Shadow Ranger. A couple weeks ago, got a message from Mr. GS1427. And he said, you always talk about how you wish Adam Pearce would be brought up to the big leagues. Meaning WWE or TNA. I've talked about that before in many a time. I've ranted about it. I don't want to do the Adam Pearce rant again, but not going to do the rant. Not going to do the rant. Just anyway, he continues. He says, if TNA were to sign him, what storyline would you give him? If he had a manager, who would it be? Who would his partner in crime? Who would be his partner in crime that helps get him over? What would be the gimmick you give him? Would he be a heel or face? Who would he wrestle? It's kind of fantasy booking. And I am never one to turn down a fantasy booking challenge. I love being able to flex my creative muscle. And so I've been working on it for the past about 2 weeks or so. And I'm going to show you what I have. I obviously can't fantasy book the guy's entire career. So this is going to be roughly his first year in the company. To answer a couple of questions here, a couple of different storylines we're going to go through and talk about his feuds he would do. If he had a manager, who would it be? He doesn't need a manager. Adam Pearce doesn't need a manager. If I was going to give him a manager, if I had to, I would make it Ric Flair. But Scrap Iron doesn't need a manager. His partner in crime that helps him get over, he doesn't need a partner in crime. This dude is awesome all on his own. Only thing he needs is good feuds. As long as he has good people, good faces to feud with, because I would make him a heel. His gimmick would be the gimmick he has now. He's just a wrestler. He doesn't need a gimmick. He's just a great heel at what he does. And even when he had even as a face, he does pretty good, although he has turned heel again in NWA Hollywood. But I'm waiting to see where that goes. If you did want to give Adam Pearce a partner in crime, I don't think he would need it, and I'm not necessarily saying I would do it, but you could reform the Standard. If you're not familiar with it, about last year, Adam Pearce formed a faction in NWA Hollywood called the Standard. He was the world champion, and one member of the Standard, who is in TNA now, is Austin Aries. Also was Joey Chaos and Peter Avalon, who looks awful without his long hair now. But anyway, I don't know if they could use the name The Standard, but you'd have Adam Pearce and Austin Aries is already there, so you just need maybe one or two other guys to put with them. Thinking about who you might be able to put with them. Let's see here. Austin Aries, you got Adam Pearce. You could change Robbie E's gimmick and he could be part of it. You know, because eventually his gimmick's got to change. He can't be Robbie E his whole career. So Robbie E could be part of the standard. And who could be your fourth? Alex Shelley? Nah. Same. Anthony Neese. He's not doing anything right now, and he's a guy who has some talent. Who has talent that, you know, TNA hasn't really done a whole lot with. He could be your fourth guy if you wanted to make a new standard. Like I said, I don't think Adam Pearce needs a group with him, but if you wanted to, that could be a pretty decent group. Adam Pearce, Austin Aries, Anthony Neese, and Robbie E without the jersey gimmick. Eventually, he transitions out of that gimmick and just be Rob Echoes. Or you can have a different name for him. But I could see that working. Robbie E with a more serious gimmick, not being Jersey Shore guy. Anthony Neese, Austin Aries, and Adam Pearce as the standard, like they formed in NWA Hollywood. As for who he would wrestle, well, we're gonna get to that in this video. First things first, though, since this is a fantasy booking video, I need to give my disclaimer. I am in no way saying that I can write or book wrestling better than the writers or bookers of any wrestling organization. These opinions are mine and mine alone, and only represent something that I would personally find entertaining. Alright. So, to start off, we're going to need some setup. I'm going to have him do some run with the television title. So I need to have a good face champion set up with that title. And I said before in another video, I think Ken Anderson would be a good face to run with that belt. I think he could do some good stuff to really get that belt over. So your setup before you bring Adam Pearce in, this would be months ahead of time. You would put that TV title on Ken Anderson. He can come out, beat Robbie E, take that title. Give him some good heels to feud with. You got people like Gunner, you got the Pope. I think him and the Pope could do a really good long feud with that belt. Anderson can feud with guys like Austin Aries, Bully Ray, Christopher Daniels. You got Kazarian possibly. You got Kid Cash. You got Robbie E. You got Magnus. You got Joe. Scott Steiner. You let Anderson run with that belt for a bit, for about 5, 6, 7, maybe 7 months. Give Anderson enough time and some credible feuds to reestablish that belt and make that belt seem important. Because that belt is kind of weak now and it needs to be reestablished first. So before Adam Pearce even shows up, let Ken Anderson run with that belt, put him against some good feuds, and let him, you know, build the credibility of that TV title back up to where it needs to be. And I'd go through all that, but this isn't a Ken Anderson booking video. This is an Adam Pearce booking video. But maybe I'll do a Ken Anderson video another time. But also, for on down the line, I'm going to need a face world champion. I expect James Storm to win it at either Lockdown or Slammiversary. He'll do great for this. Alright. Oh, and just wanted to know, I'm not going to have Adam Pearce win the world title in his first year. But I do need a babyface world champion, too, for this thing to work. Alright, so you've had the TV title on Anderson for about 5, 6, 7 months. He's gotten that belt up. That belt's looking good again. And it's going to be ready for Adam Pearce to eventually come in and win it down the line. So we start off with some vignettes about Adam Pearce. Vignettes. They don't do vignettes much anymore, but Adam Pearce is coming. Adam Pearce is coming in 6 weeks. Adam Pearce is coming in 5 weeks. You talk about his accomplishments. You know, he's wrestled all over the world. You show clips of him wrestling in different companies. You talk about the fact that he's a 4-time NWA World Champion. You talk about all that stuff. You build this guy up. You want to sit and do through these 6 weeks of vignettes that this guy is somebody important and that he's here to, you know, continue his legacy. A couple of these vignettes, just let him cut promos. The guy is amazing at promos. I listen to Adam Pearce promos and I get chills. It just, like, I feel it, man, when this dude talks. There's nobody in WWE or TNA that does promos as good as Adam Pearce does. Nobody's promos just make me really feel it, make me really believe it the way he does. So his promo skills will get him over before he even debuts. So when he debuts, we're gonna start off when his first, you know, couple months is just a couple of squash matches. You got some of the lower card guys, guys like Anarquia and Tony Neese, Devon, Eric Young, some of the lower card guys that he can go over and look good on. Or you know, bring in a few jobbers, get a couple of the OVW guys to do some squash matches if you need to. After his third or fourth win, you have him cut a promo. One thing I wanted to do is get good reactions with his promos. I want to have him do promos after matches in front of the crowd, as much of his promos in front of the crowd as he can. So after about his third or fourth win, he cut some promo saying, you know, he wants some bigger competition. So he's gonna put out a open challenge for the next pay-per-view, and he wants to challenge a former world champion. Okay. This would be after his maybe third or fourth win, you know, just squash matches, enhancement matches, something he wins in, you know, a good 5 to 6 minutes. So the person who's going to accept his challenge first is going to be Rob Van Dam. So that's what you'll build up to his first big pay-per-view match. Not a lot of not very little physical contact between the two. Just let the promos do the talking. His first pay-per-view match is against RVD. He is a heel, so he is going to do a little cheating. Not a whole lot though. It's basically going to be a good match, good back and forth match. Let them, you know, give him a good 10 to 15 minutes, and ref gets distracted. Pearce hits a quick low blow, hits maybe like a German suplex or something to get the pin. One low blow, not a whole lot of cheating, just one dirty move. I don't like the guys who do dirty moves all through the match. You just want to do one. When it looks like RVD might have him, hit that one good dirty move, low blow, German suplex. Might not have to be a low blow. It could be a low blow, thumb to the eye, just a little quick thing, little underhanded move to get a quick advantage and score the pin. All right. When he cuts promos, any week that he's not having a match or before his matches, have him cut a promo. He wants to be a little arrogant with his promos, not super arrogant heel. Talk about his goals. That, you know, he wants championship goals. He makes no qualms about it. He is here to be the best, to win, to have gold around his waist. He says, you know, Ken Anderson's TV champion. I'm looking at you, world champion James Storm, who I'm expected to be world champion pretty soon. You know, that's who I'm coming after. He mentions he wants to be like the face of this company or something like that, you know. Anyway, so cut a promo after he beats RVD. Next Impact, you can have another squash match, and then he puts out a challenge again, which is for his next pay-per-view. He's going to challenge. He wants to put out an open challenge for another world champion to face him, and the second challenge is going to be accepted by Jeff Hardy. Again, cheats. He cheats to beat Jeff Hardy on the pay-per-view. After he's gotten about 2 pay-per-view wins, maybe can do Jeff Hardy twice, a second pay-per-view with Jeff Hardy. But after he's done 2 to 3 pay-per-view wins, He's still undefeated. He enters a battle royal to get a shot at the TV title, wins the battle royal. So he's going to be challenging Ken Anderson for the TV title, and he challenges former TV champions. So you have like a match against Eric Young, Doug Williams, who'll go over, beat them. Maybe clean, maybe a little underhanded. So you do his pay-per-view match with Anderson on the next pay-per-view. So I think right now I'm at his, let's see. Okay, first pay-per-view. Okay, first month pay-per-view, RVD. Second month pay-per-view, Jeff Hardy. Third month pay-per-view, possibly Jeff Hardy again. So we're at, so this will be his fourth pay-per-view. He faces Anderson for the TV title, but it goes to a 20-minute time limit draw. Build up to a rematch. In the rematch, that's when Adam Pearce beats Ken Anderson to win the TV title. Now, at this point, the pre-stuff, Ken Anderson would have held this TV title for about, again, 7, maybe 8 months. 7, 8, maybe 9 months. Anderson would have a really, really long title reign, because it reestablishes Anderson, it builds up the title, and then afterwards, Anderson goes back into the main event, the world title picture, and Adam Pearce is going to be carrying the TV title. All right, so see, that's pay-per-view 4 or 5. So then next pay-per-view, they have a rematch. It can be some type of gimmick match if you want to. It doesn't have to be, but Adam Pearce would retain the TV title. Anderson moves on towards the main event. Pearce goes on to his next challenger for the TV title. Now, once he wins the TV title, he's got to put the title over big. We've spent months with Anderson having the belt to build it up. Pearce is going to keep talking about the importance of the title. If possible, I don't know if they could pull it off, but if Adam Pearce could do some of the funny promos with JB, like the ones he's done in NWA Hollywood with Johnny LaQuasto, that would be great. I don't know if JB could work with Adam Pearce in a promo the same way as Johnny LaQuasto does, because those are some funny promos. I have several of those uploaded on my channel. If you go to my channel, and I have them as videos called A Moment with Johnny and Adam. I have like 4 of them up there of Johnny LaQuasto interviewing Adam Pearce. They're fantastic promos. I love watching them. I watch them a lot. Go check some of those out. I wonder if JB is good enough that he could. Well, not good enough. JB's great at what he does. If JB can pull off that chemistry with Adam Pearce, the same type of chemistry that Johnny LaQuasto has. So, anyway. I want him to have a really long run with that title. I would have him run with that title for 8, 9, maybe 10 months. I'm past a year now with him in the company. Some feuds he would do over the TV title. You want to look at guys you can work with that belt here. Some of the guys he would do feuds with when some of the main event level guys, when they're not in the world title picture at the moment. Because you don't know when other guys are going to come in and out of the company, so it's kind of hard to say. But you got guys like Matt Morgan he could do a feud with, a month with. Samoa Joe possibly, Magnus, Abyss, AJ Styles. You know, see, problem is TNA's kind of heel heavy. And you never know who's going to go in and out of the company at the time. Now, right now, Chris Masters is doing some kind of campaign to get into TNA. He could feud with Chris Masters for a month or 2. Probably do Jeff Hardy again one time. You know, because every feud you do, you can get 2 months out of it. 3 if it's really good. I look at every feud, and I figure I should be able to get at least 2 pay-per-view matches out of every feud you do. If it's a really, really good one it's into, make it go a little longer, but at least 2 months out of each guy. You know, you eventually do a couple of 3-way matches, 4-way matches, things like that. The main big match, because that I'm going to have Adam Pearce be in, that I want to build up to, is him as a TV champion getting a shot at the world title. facing James Storm, who I think would be the champion, who would still be the world champion at the time. And James Storm, the world champion, is who I would have give Adam Pearce his first loss. He'd be the first guy to pin Adam Pearce. Keep in mind, by the time I do this match, Adam Pearce would have been in the company and undefeated for nearly a year. Maybe a little over a year. But because he's not, Adam Pearce isn't like a monster beast type guy, him being undefeated works because you don't have to worry about people trying to compare him like Goldberg or anything. That's the problem that Crimson ran into. Because he's a big tough guy, the fact that he's undefeated, people automatically want to compare to Goldberg, and that's going to happen to every guy, really. Let me do sidebar for a minute. That's going to happen to every big tough looking guy. Any guy that's built up as this big tough monster, if he goes on an undefeated streak, people are going to say, oh, they're trying to make a new Goldberg, which you're never going to make a new Goldberg. And I don't think TNA was trying to get Goldberg with Crimson. That's just something the IWC comes up with. I mean, I don't understand it. I don't see anything Goldberg like in Crimson. I mean, he's a big dude, but that's it. I don't think they were ever trying to make him anything like Goldberg. But with Adam Pearce, who's more of a technical wrestler, you won't get those comparisons, even though he'll be undefeated. You don't really have to talk about the fact he's undefeated a whole lot. Just say, Adam Pearce is undefeated. He has never been pinned. He has never submitted. His first loss will be at the hands of the world champion, which actually builds him up in defeat. That it took the world champion. Sorry about that. For a second, it felt like the ground was shaking. But I'm not on the ground. I live on a 22nd floor. Anyway, I got confused here. His first loss comes at the hands of the world champion. The fact that it even makes him, I think it would even make him look better because it took the world champion to beat him. But eventually, you want to build somebody, a baby face up good to eventually take that belt from him after he's held that TV title for close to a year, and then you move him into the main event. Who the babyface would be that takes it from him? Somebody newer. I want to be a step up for a guy. You know, like I wouldn't want AJ Styles to be the guy who took it from him because AJ, that doesn't help AJ. It doesn't make him bigger. I wanted to be somebody who gets elevated by it. A younger guy like Jesse Sorensen, for example. I'm not saying it should be Sorensen. I'm just using him as an example. If I bring Adam Pearce as this really great heel who's very dominant, winning, and a guy like Jesse Sorensen is the babyface who finally beats him for that title, it really elevates Sorensen. And then Adam Pearce, having held the title, had so many good feuds, moves into the main event picture, and eventually he can go for the world title. Maybe he could even be the guy who comes back later to beat James Storm for the world title. Maybe he loses to James Storm in his first world title match, and James Storm, as the world champion, is the first one to beat him. And then, a couple months down the line, maybe 3, 4, 5 months down the line, Adam Pearce faces James Storm in another big pay-per-view and beats him, and he has a run with the world title. Gets a little difficult because the problem is it's hard to account for who's gonna leave and who's gonna come into the company. As you doing this, you don't know who might be leaving the company tomorrow. I could get on the internet tomorrow and read that, Kurt Angle left or something. I doubt it, but ooh, Kurt Angle. How did I forget that? That would be a great feud for him to do. Kurt Angle, heel or face, you could make that work. I don't know how you make that work because Angle's doing heel right now. But Angle's one of those guys, a year from now, you can turn him back face if you want to. But face or heel, a Kurt Angle Adam Pearce match would be great. Maybe some type of 2 or 3-way match were to work. We have Pearce, Angle, and like a babyface in there as a 3-way. I don't know. Let me check my time. Alright, 20 minutes. I'm good. Let's see. Make sure I didn't leave anything out. I'm checking my notes. I'll post all my notes in the description section. The notes are very choppy. But it just kind of it'll just help you kind of, you know, get an idea where I was going, follow my thought process. Not very well though, because my notes are just typed out. I just type stuff as I think of it. Yeah, I think we're good here. So, again, quick one more time. Put the TV title. Start off by getting the TV title on Anderson and the world title on James Storm. Both of them as faces. Anderson runs with that TV title 6-7 months to really get it built back up. Pearce comes in, couple squash matches, few open challenges on pay-per-views, couple underhanded dirty wins. Visually gets that TV title in a 3-match series with Anderson. First match a draw, second match Pearce wins the title, third match is the, you know, I have a rematch clause in the contract, and Pearce wins that one. He moves on to feuds with other people for the title, guys like Morgan, guys like Joe, guys like Magnus, guys like Abyss, guys like AJ Styles. I think a Pearce AJ Styles program would be fantastic for like 2 to 3 months. I think you get 3 really great matches out of that. I think if you do that first match, maybe maybe an intentional DQ from Pearce to keep the belt. Second match, maybe like AJ could beat him in a non-title match on Impact once. I think those two doing maybe it's like some type of submission match or Iron Man match or something like that would be fantastic. But you know, I would love to see that program. AJ Styles and Adam Pearce would be great. Anyway, in total, everything I have here on this list, this would be at least a year and a half of programs I could get out of this. It depends on how you extend some of them. I know it won't look like it when you read the notes, but I think I could get a good year and a half out of what I just talked about. I think that's what all I'll say on this one. So, Mr. GS1427, thank you for sending me this question. This was enjoyable to do. I like doing fantasy booking type videos. I like being creative, especially give me a guy that I really enjoy and want to see great things from. So yeah, thanks for sending me that question. If you have any other stuff you'd like me to do, like ideas for fantasy booking, let me do, send them to me. I enjoy doing it. Anything else I want to say about this video? No. Yeah, I'm good. Don't do the Adam Pearce rant again. So, that being said, this is the Shadow Ranger. Thank you for listening. If you like my videos, please subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter at TJSMITH3. Have a nice day.
You know, I got to take it off. I got to applaud the people behind NWA Ring Warriors, promoter Howard Brody, and the Brain Trust in Florida for making it happen. Because it will. Battle of the Belts, March 29th, Fort Lauderdale. Perhaps the biggest National Wrestling Alliance event of the year. And I am slated as of this moment to compete in the main event against the hand-selected challenge. An unknown challenger as of this moment. And there's so many parts about this that are ironic and I think so poetic for me as a professional. March the 29th, my hand-picked choice, the selection of my opponent will come at the hands of a person, a man that I consider a friend, a mentor, someone I looked up to since my youth, and someone who's been very instrumental in my success in the wrestling business, particularly over the last 5 or 6 years. My challenge will be hand-selected by James E. Cornette. And Jimmy, I love it. I love the concept. I love the idea. I love the fact that it's you. It's you who are going to be picking the challenge for me. And not only are you picking the challenge for me, you're picking the challenger from Ring of Honor. Now, how perfect is that? My mentor selecting my challenger from my former company. You know, I can only think of really one person on this planet that knows Ring of Honor better than me. And for the talent pool, the particulars that are there today, most of them I had a hand and sometimes two in bringing them into Ring of Honor. It's so poetic. It's very apropos, isn't it? Jim, I'm honored, first of all, that you would be involved in a match of such magnitude at Battle of the Belts on a number of levels, but I got to tell you, I want you to pick wisely. Not that I, Adam Pearce, need to give you, Jim Cornette, any advice, but I want you to pick wisely because who could it be? I mean, the odds are endless. The list is long. Is it Davey Richards? Lord knows I've been begging for that match. Is it Jay Lethal? Which would be great. Is it one of my favorite two drinking buddies, Mark or Jay Briscoe? Is it Steve Corino, former NWA champion? Is it Florida's own Roderick Strong? Or is it one of the young guns? Is it a Kyle O'Reilly? Is it an Adam Cole? Is it a Mike Bennett? So much to prepare for, and that's what the challenge is all about. That's why I signed this open contract. And God willing, if I come to Florida on the 29th, still carrying this, the 10 pounds of leather and gold, it'll be on the line. Oh, I can tell you that. But I'm up against the wall. I'm battle-tested, Jim, and you know that. And that's why I love the fact that you picked the challenge, because you are going to push me to the absolute limits of my faculties. You're going to put me in harm's way, mentally, physically, emotionally. You're going to make sure that the battle for that championship is fought at the highest level. The Battle of the Belts, March 29th, Fort Lauderdale, Florida. It's NWA Ring Warriors coming together. Town of Ring of Honor, some of the best in the world. The 10 pounds of gold around the waist of the four-time champion, Jim Cornette. The tag team champions of the world will be in the house. There's a little flavor for everybody. I got my homework out. It's all lined up on my desk. And everybody's telling me my work's cut out for me. If I make it to Fort Lauderdale the 29th, the heavyweight champion of the world, it will be the fight of my wrestling life to walk out. And Jimmy, I wouldn't have it any other way. See you soon.